Prologue. The land remembers before the soldiers came. The wind told stories. It swept across the grasslands of the Great Plains, whispering of buffalo herds, fire dances, and spirits that walked the earth long before the white man's wheel touched soil. But by 1874, the wind carried a different message: the sound of gunfire, the scent of gunpowder, and the quiet wails of mothers burying their sons. This is the story of one war, one tribe, one young warrior, and one reluctant soldier. Chapter 1. Thunder on the Horizon. The village of the Comanche lay nestled near a winding river in what is now western Texas. 15-year-old Red Hawk, tall and lean, was already a skilled rider and hunter. He had just returned from a successful buffalo hunt when the scouts rode in with grim faces. "Bluecoats are coming," said Running Elk, a seasoned warrior. "How many?" asked Chief White Bear. "Too many. Wagons, cannons, hundreds of them." At Fort Richardson, Captain Elijah Morgan sat in a tent lit by lantern light, scanning a map marked in red ink. A Civil War veteran in his late 30s, he had seen enough death to know what was coming. His orders were clear: drive out the hostile tribes, secure the land for settlers, destroy their ability to resist. Elijah had no hatred for the Comanche, but he had duty, and duty had a way of crushing doubt. Chapter 2. The first skirmish at dawn. The cavalry moved in rows, their boots drumming the earth like war drums. Red Hawk watched from a distant ridge, his heart pounding. This was not like hunting. This was war. The Comanche struck fast, riding bareback, their faces painted with red stripes. Arrows whistled through the air, catching soldiers off guard. Gunfire answered. A brief but brutal clash left bodies on both sides. Red Hawk's cousin, Little Bear, was shot in the back. Red Hawk carried him home, blood soaking his tunic. In camp, Morgan ordered a defensive circle. He had underestimated them. "They are not just raiders," he told his lieutenant. "They're fighting for their lives." Chapter 3. Ghosts of the Past. At night, Elijah Morgan could not sleep. He remembered the Cherokee removal. He had seen it as a boy. Families driven off their land. Children dying on the road. They called it progress, he whispered. Red Hawk, meanwhile, sat with his grandfather Many Rivers, who burned sage and chanted softly. "This land is not just dirt," he said. "It remembers. Every bone buried here sings. Do you hear it?" Red Hawk did not answer. He was already dreaming of vengeance. Chapter 4. The attack on Elm Creek. 1 week later, under a moonless sky, the Comanche launched a full assault on the military encampment by Elm Creek. They set fire to wagons, cut horses loose, and struck like lightning. Red Hawk fought fiercely, his knife finding gaps in enemy uniforms. He saw fear in the eyes of the young soldiers, many no older than him. Captain Morgan killed 2 warriors with his revolver, but froze when a boy, no older than 12, lunged at him with a spear. Morgan hesitated too long. Red Hawk tackled the boy away, saving the captain's life, though neither knew it yet. He dragged the boy to safety as bullets screamed through the dark. Chapter 5. Winter of Hunger. The army brought reinforcements. Tribes were pushed further into the barren west. Buffalo herds disappeared, either slaughtered or scared off. Winter came, cruel and unforgiving. Red Hawk's people starved. Children died in their sleep. Elders refused food so the young might live. In the fort, Morgan looked at his logbook. Raid successful. Tribe dispersed. Casualties acceptable. He felt hollow. When a captured Comanche girl was brought to the fort, he demanded she be treated well. Her name was Rain Woman. She stared at him with defiant eyes. "Why are you here?" she asked in English. "To follow orders," he replied. "Then your soul is already lost." Chapter 6. Red Hawk's journey in early spring. Red Hawk was chosen for a mission to ride north, seek alliance with the Cheyenne and Lakota. The journey took weeks. He saw abandoned villages, burnt teepees, bodies left for crows. But he also found pockets of resistance, warriors still ready to fight. Among the Lakota, he met White Thunder, a chief who spoke calmly. "Your war is not just with soldiers, it is with time. The world is changing. But that does not mean you must forget who you are." They offered him warriors and a warning: do not become what you hate. Chapter 7: The Final Stand. By the summer of 1875, the Comanche and their allies launched one last campaign to push back the Bluecoats. They attacked supply lines, ambushed patrols, and finally laid siege to Fort Richardson. Morgan held the walls with dwindling men and ammunition. He sent a final message east: "We will not last another week." Red Hawk was there. He had seen too many dead, too many friends buried without names. He did not hate Morgan, but he could not let his people vanish. On the fourth day, Red Hawk and Morgan faced each other in battle. No words, just eyes, one filled with sorrow, the other fire. They clashed. Chapter 8: Smoke and Silence. The siege ended when federal reinforcements arrived. The tribes were scattered again. Fort Richardson stood, but it was hollowed out. Red Hawk was captured. Morgan saw to it that he was not executed. He argued for his release. "He is not an enemy. He is the last echo of a people we never tried to understand." Red Hawk was eventually released to a reservation, far from his homeland. Rain Woman did not survive the winter. Morgan left the army. He returned east, bought a small farm, and lived in silence. Epilogue: Whispers of Memory. Years later, a boy asked Red Hawk, now an old man with clouded eyes, "Did you win the war?" Red Hawk smiled sadly. "There are no winners, only stories, and the land remembers them all." The wind still moved through the plains, not as a conqueror, but as a witness, carrying the names of the forgotten into the sky.